looking dudes! And fresh off the press of release, we are playing Metroid Dread by yours truly.
Oh, by Sega?
Sega!
No, it's by Nintendo, dude.
Yeah. Well, Nintendo, when they aren't doing their fuck-ups like once or twice a year, and actually are putting out the good shit that they're known
honestly,
for.
I didn't think they were ever gonna release a Prime again, because like they announced Metroid Prime, 3 years ago, and we haven't heard anything.
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
4
they haven't
fucking
heard
years.
anything about it.
Yeah.
They're just like, guys, we didn't forget this series, so we're gonna like give you like a gel of hope. As you can see, Ken is. Oh, these are new save files.
Well, more like I've gone back and replayed the game again after like beating the game. I've beaten the game twice, by the way. I've beaten it on the first playthrough, and then I beat it on hard mode. But to keep things consistent,
normal or hard mode?
We're gonna do normal mode for brevity's sake, because I actually want to go for the sub 4 hour run. And that'll give me the best ending pictures.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go from there.
Okay.
And so, in other words, we're not going to be going for all of the expansions, just the ones that we feel are most convenient to get at that point in time.
Yeah.
So I do love me some Metroid. I wanted to try and start the channel with Metroid originally.
We played 2 of them.
We played Zero Mission in the NES game. But if you watched our Mario playthrough, then you'll know that our mic kind of went and fucked up on us.
We used the old junky mic that Ken had, and then like we were like
a $70 mic.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's junky to me because it wasn't working. So then we went to Best Buy and bought a new mic, and now it works.
And it's pretty crystal clear quality
We've been trying
too.
to make this channel for like 3 weeks.
But we finally got things going, thank God.
Yeah, I know. It was making me crazy.
So we figured...
Dang, what's going on? She's on life support or something?
This is kind of recapping the events of the games that came before this.
Okay.
Did you play Metroid Fusion? No, you didn't. You didn't play
I didn't play any of that.
Metroid Fusion was actually my first video game. Well, not video game, but it was my first Metroid game. Okay. And it's crazy to think that the game I started off with that made me a fan of this franchise, Metroid being my favorite video game series of all time, by the way, I'm finally seeing a sequel to it nearly 20 years later. Imagine that.
You know, I never really got into Metroid, but I watched the Alien series,
which this series is very much inspired by. And it's kind of crazy to me that they actually kind of kept the story parallels similar, even in Dread, because, well, you know, I can't really spoil it because, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know. And it just makes me wonder.
That's so tempting, though. If you had a series for like 30 years, it'd be so tempting to just, like, make it your own after that.
Well, I think that's what the Metroid Prime series was for. Outside of it trying to move to the third dimension, is that
I thought they just wanted a Halo game, dude.
Well, I mean, it was first person, but it didn't really play anything like a Halo game. But that's what a lot of normies thought at the time, and that's why Prime didn't do as well as it should have. Well, at least as well as Nintendo wanted it to be, anyway.
Yeah.
But luckily, Halo isn't as relevant as it used to be anymore, so I think Metroid's got more of a chance to shine than ever. In fact, Dread is actually on par for looking like the best-selling game in the series. That makes me fucking ecstatic. So, this is kind of turning into a Fire Emblem Awakening situation where this series is getting potentially new life, and we're getting a bunch of new fans, because you got to realize that this game came out like the bridge between Other M and Samus Returns was fucking huge. 7 years. That's a whole fucking generation of people that missed out on Metroid, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm lucky. I
missed out on it, and I'm 26.
I'm lucky enough. I'm old enough to have remembered growing up on this series. I'm 27, by the way. So,
then why didn't I get it, Ken?
I don't know, because you wanted to play Animal Crossing.
I hate Animal Crossing.
I don't know. You played Pokemon and I didn't.
Yeah.
This was around a time period where I can.
Lit. Why are we playing Pokemon, Ken? Yo, what if I bring over a cartridge of like So, like, okay, so our recording methods, what do we got so far? We might as well let our fans know so they could recommend games that fit for us.
We have a Blue Yeti Nano mic.
No, like, what consoles can we record off of?
I mean, honestly, anything's a game as far as I'm concerned.
Like,
I mean, the only thing that's kind of off limits to us is the PS3, and that's because the PS3 and the Elgato don't get along well for some reason.
What about, like... So we could, but like we have a Wii. We haven't been emulating, but we should emulate.
But I was saying earlier,
we've been playing the Switch. We got a Wii U. We got a GameCube. We got SNES. But you said there's input delay on the GameCube, right?
Only if you play GBA games.
Okay. So if I bring like Pokemon Coliseum over, we could play that.
Yeah, that would work perfectly fine.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Anything's a game on the GameCube as far as I'm concerned.
Honestly, I just played XD because I hacked my Wii. And honestly, it is better than regular Coliseum. But
yeah.
I know Coliseum by the back of my hand because I had it for 7 years.
In regards to Pokemon and going back to what I was trying to say, like, it was just because, like, you know, I mean, I did grow up on Crystal. I loved the fuck out of Crystal. But, like, you know, those other games were coming out around a time where whenever new stuff would come out, I'd play those instead because, you know, when you have a birthday close to Christmas, you only have so much time in the year to, like, buy certain games, and, like, when you only have so many certain games, and you're just going to go back and replay them as much as you can, and by the time I got back into Pokemon, I couldn't really get into the series anymore, you know? Mm-hmm. It was like, I feel like Pokemon's just another victim of franchises where if you didn't really grow up on it properly, it's harder to go back to, you know? Especially with how formulaic it is these days.
Absolutely.
I tried fucking Alpha Sapphire. I tried the Let's Go games, and I think there was one other game I tried.
Alpha Sapphire was not that good, though.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been telling me.
Yeah, like, honestly, you might as well play the original.
If I were to go back and play a Pokemon game, it would probably be the Gen 2 remakes. Those look pretty fire.
I like the Gen 2 originals a lot, but that was my first Pokemon game. Like, had you ever, you know, what I've been replaying lately is the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color.
I heard that's a hidden gem, honestly.
Like, I had that game when I was a kid, and I knew it was good. But, like, the soundtrack is so good.
I could believe that.
The soundtrack is awesome. And, like, I beat it, and now I'm on the Pokemon Trading Card Games 2 but it's retranslated, but it was only released in Japan. And it's even better.
There was a sequel they made in Japan?
Only, yeah. And it's really good, man.
I think they did the same shit with the Stadium games, where, like, I think the first Pokemon Stadium was, like, a Japan exclusive, and then when they brought 2 over, they just called it 1 instead, or whatever, and then they did the same thing for
That looks like a motherfucking Pokemon using Ganon Side B.
Damn. Now I see the parallels, and I can't get it out of my fucking head.
He looks like he'd be like a steel flying ghost type.
But yeah, this thing that's attacking us is actually an evil Chozo, and if you guys know your Metroid lore, Samus was raised by Chozo people, so the fact that we ran into an evil Chozo dude, it's like, what the fuck? And he left us alive, but stole some of our abilities, so...
Yeah.
This game's kind of like the anti-narrative of most Metroid games, where you start from a ship and you work your way down through the planet. This one, we're actually trying to make it back on our ship and get off the planet, and I think that's a pretty cool role reversal, if I do say so myself. And I do gotta say, this game fucking handles like a dream. Like, I've played just about every Metroid game on this planet Earth, and even compared to, like, Zero Mission and Super Metroid, this is the most, like, clean, like, gameplay I've witnessed from a Metroid game so far. And I was worried because Samus Returns was a very mid-tier title. I wasn't super big on Samus Returns.
Which one is that?
That's the one that came out on 3DS when they were trying to bring the franchise back originally. And I thought Samus Returns was just okay. And I felt like the control scheme was very fucking congested for the handheld it was on. I felt like they put this game on a 3DS and they tried to have you do a little too much with it.
Dude, Samus looks good, dude.
Looks.
He is a great looking guy.
I'll roll with that for right now.
It looks like he does squats. Look, his name's Adam. So is that Samus's name? Is Adam?
It's the computer. This is actually the same Adam from the computer that gave us directions in Metroid Fusion.
Dude, what was this? Look, when I saw you play this first, because we got on release date together, like, I was like, that voice sounds like something from a cartoon that I used to hear.
I don't know.
It sounds so familiar, that fake stereotypical robot voice. Do you hear it?
Star Trek?
No.
I don't know, but I think it's pretty cool that they kept.
Does not compute.
I think it's pretty fucking sick that they're actually like kind of sticking with the chronology, and the events of Metroid Fusion do greatly impact Dread. A lot more than you'd think. Like, I know Sakamoto was saying in the direct that like you can kind of keep up from just the intro alone, but I feel like there's a lot of missing pieces that I feel like you can only truly completely appreciate if you've played Metroid Fusion before this.
Yeah, for sure.
And I won't lie, that could be a little bit of a turnoff for some, because then you'll see certain segments and it's like, you're like, oh, at first. And then if you're like me and you've been playing Metroid for like over half your life, you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think they'd actually bring that shit back.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. But you know, my thing with it is like,
and it's not even done as a.
My thing is like the people who made Fusion. You said you were talking about Fusion, right?
Yeah.
The people who made Fusion. How many of them are actually helping make this game?
So this game is developed by Mercury Steam, and these are the guys responsible for Castlevania Lords of Shadow on 3DS, which is a game that admittedly not a lot of people know about. And I think they have a few other titles under their belt, but I think what happened is that Sakamoto really liked the gameplay and how it flowed on the 3DS, and he wanted to try to kind of emulate that for Samus Returns. And originally, Mercury Steams actually wanted to do a Fusion remake, and Sakamoto insisted that they do Samus Returns, you know, a remake of Metroid 2 instead, which is understandable. Metroid 2 definitely needed a remake for sure. The game hasn't aged quite as gracefully as you might think, but I think it's pretty cool that to kind of honor their wishes somewhat, they actually just said, you know what, let's take this project that had been in development hell for like the past 15 years and actually bring it back and have.
Okay.
Yeah, so Metroid Dread is actually something that's existed, like the project, you know, code name or idea since like 2005. Like this was supposed to be a DS game, and the fact that it's actually a fucking reality blows my fucking mind.
Well, you know, that makes sense actually after you said all that. I feel like this game, now if Nintendo didn't do the whole thing with the Switch where it was like a home console and then like a traveling console put together, then it would make sense that this would have been on like what would they call it, the 4DS or whatever, man. That would make sense that this would be a game on that console.
Well, like I said, Samus Returns suffered from being a game that tried to do too much for the 3DS's capabilities, because like it gave you so many control schemes that they actually had to, you know, fit that on the touch screen.
Okay.
And it basically makes the game kind of uncomfortable to play.
Yeah.
And this game definitely doesn't suffer from that issue at all. If anything, this game gives you a lot of options, and it makes the game feel more satisfying to play.
You would recommend this game to a friend?
Maybe not as a first Metroid game, but if they're super into the action-y, like heavy, like Metroidvanias, then sure. I think the level of guidance in Dread is really good. I don't feel like I ever really felt lost, because I felt like as soon as I got an upgrade in Metroid Dread, the game's like level design kind of steered me in a direction of where to go next. So even if I was supposed to backtrack to like a previous area, for example, everything kind of looped back in that direction to where you knew you had to do that.
I get that.
But on the other hand, this game's hard.
Is it really?
Very fucking hard.
Is that why you won't let me play it, Kenny? Because you know I'll just die. Hey, well, you watched me on launch day play this game.
Yeah, very clean gameplay.
I died right here. I kept dying to this guy.
And this game is, even compared to other Metroid games, like I would say this is probably the hardest Metroid game since Prime 2.
Those boots look good.
This is some good looking boots on a good looking dudette. Oh, I'm sorry, good looking dude. I'm so sorry.
She can be whatever she wants to be.
But yeah, this game is not particularly too forgiving. You take a lot of damage. You gotta really know how to use your melee counter very efficiently.
Melee counter, is that like Marth's downbeat?
This thing. This was introduced in Samus Returns, but the problem in Samus Returns is that when you used it in that game, you had to come to a complete standstill. Yeah. And that really slowed the pace of the game down to a crawl that made it very uncomfortable to play. You gotta beat this
in 4 hours. Go, go, go.
So, in order to compensate for that, they actually made the melee counter to where you can use it while moving. And I think that's a fucking great-ass idea.
Yeah.
So, the melee counter feels a lot more comfortable to use compared to the previous game. And I feel like Samus Returns as a whole felt more like a testing grounds for new ideas that would eventually lead into Dread. And for that notion, yeah, I respect the hell out of Samus Returns. But would I want to go back to Samus Returns all that often? Not really.
Dude, so do you got any of our old footage from the last Metroid still around?
Kind of, but I can't really pull that together into a cohesive playthrough, unfortunately.
Man, y'all, let me tell you this story. When we were playing Metroid, I was like, Mr. Metroid here looks like he listens to Daft Punk. And Ken here told me that I've never watched that anime before.
This is what happens when you watch too much anime. God damn it, dude. You just had to bring that back up.
Yeah, I did, because it was hilarious. I can't believe
it sounds like the name of a fucking anime,
Daft
though.
Punk?
Yeah! Or like a new fucking, or a new fucking genre
they
of
made
music.
That song, was it one, the Better, Faster, Stronger song? They made it One More Time. They made a lot of songs that were popular. They're like, honestly, if you've ever watched the Better, Faster, Stronger music video, it's themed like an anime from outer space.
Like a Cowboy Bebop,
like it's like futuristic.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're like alien. Like they basically go into like that movie Avatar when they're like asleep in like a tank and then they wake up and they're like blue people.
I think a lot of people have seen that, so that's a good comparison.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But like this was made in the 2000s or the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before Avatar made it cool.
Before Avatar existed.
Yeah. I heard they were supposed to make that into its own like cinematic universe or whatever. What happened? Yeah.
Well, Avatar the movie was based off of the slave trade in Africa.
I can believe that.
That's what it's based off of. But they put a futuristic theme to it. So like the guys who were like trying to kill the blue people are like the Europeans who were trying to enslave the Africans.
Okay.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think they had a machine that turned someone into a black person and then let them hang out with it, though. I think that was a new idea. Unless they, like... I'm not even going to go there. Never mind.
Yeah,
like, if they, like... Okay, I'm going to stop there.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah.
That's not cool.
It's not, actually. I don't even know if I'd say that's funny either.
It's not.
It's like, stop laughing! Ah! So, have you been looking into maybe getting this game or trying it out, or?
No, because I want to spend $60 on the game.
I think it's worth $60 at least.
You know, I lost my I got the new Mario Party because my brother said he would split the money with me.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
He gave me $30.
I thought this was going to end in a tragic now.
No, my brother is a responsible adult. He's more responsible than me, shit. But he gave me $30 and he said go put the game on your card, and I was like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, does he have his own card and everything?
Well, he's a college student. I don't think he works. Well, I know he doesn't work. He wants to find a job. He's actually into like software engineering, and he's got a couple opportunities to get a job, but they just kind of fell through because of 2020, man.
Shit.
Yeah.
I know plenty of friends who went through that shit.
Yeah. Man, I went through for 2020. I worked at Maria's Seafood, which is a local chain where I moved fish. But before that, I was a musician, and I'm a musician now, and I gig with my bluegrass band. Like, there was no way I was going to get a gig at a bar, and there was no way I was going to get anything out of that during 2020.
Yeah.
There was just no way. If I had more of a social media videos, which we're about to do soon, guys, I'll tell you later. I don't know if I'll advertise it here because that's a different business, but I'll tell y'all. But like, you get what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I didn't have a social media presence. I just played in bars, so that didn't help at all.
That's some boony level shit.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
But it got you money for the time being, didn't it?
Well, no, I mean, I still got it. I mean, I still get the money from it now, but I'm talking about what was boony was, COVID.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, some dude decided to eat a bat, which, like, was it a pendulum? Is that what they're called? A bat that was, like, sat under a pendulum?
I don't know.
Which is, like, some weird... What is it called? I'm gonna look it up right now.
That's some really obscure shit that you had to intentionally do at that point for that to happen, and it's like, what the fuck?
No, well, they have something called a wet market over there, Ken. And basically what a wet market is they have animals in cages they caught in the wild, and they kill it in front of you and give you fresh meat to cook at your house.
That would probably anger a lot of people.
No, it's not.
I wouldn't anger me,
cultural,
but...
It's cultural over there. Like, it's been around there for centuries. So, you get what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my god, this fucking thing won't stop following me.
Pangolin? No, that's not it. Pangolin?
I'm not sure, honestly.
COVID. Wait, I'm looking on my phone. We have technology here. Oh, man. What was it called?
Huh.
I'm sure someone out there is literally screaming in the comment section.
We're probably saying some very specific things that are probably pissing off one or two people out there.
Pangolin?
Pangolin.
Pangolin. Pangolin. Let me show you what this looks like. You might as well put a picture of it up on the screen. It almost looks like an armadillo.
It looked like a snake for a fucking...
Look at that.
What the hell?
He's a good-looking dude. Basically, we don't know what COVID did, Ken, but someone either ate a bat who was sat under a pangolin, or someone ate a pangolin.
Jeez.
And that's what started it.
Those crazy Chinese dudes.
I mean, some of them are good-looking dudes. One day, they probably just haven't found their channel yet. But,
well, that's if China allows that, which, you know, it won't.
Wait, is there YouTube in China?
I would be surprised if it was, because China is one of the worst fucking countries you can live in. There's actually a guy that actually works at my Amazon, and he was living in China for like 10 years for like missions work or whatever, and he'd tell me about how they'd have cameras fucking everywhere, which would give all these Chinese people very little sense of liberty. It's like there's no fucking sense of agency. There's no sense of agency there at all.
Yeah. Well, you know, our country probably wants to do that. We can't let them do that.
That's why we should be vouching for no socialism.
Yeah,
but let's not go into any more depth than that.
No, there's benefits from socialism for sure. Like, honestly, our socialists that exist here are not really socialists. If you go to Sweden, you would see a real socialist, Ken.
Okay.
So like I said like earlier, I think maybe this was with somebody else earlier last night, but like we're a democratic republic. Even like our Democrats and our Republicans, they're not that different. It's just the only thing that gets emphasized is what's really right and what's really left, and that's a shame because it makes it almost feel like I'm watching fucking football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like makes me feel like I'm watching a game of Auburn versus Alabama.
Damn, that's actually a really good
Yeah, that's what it feels like nowadays, which is
Shit.
horrible.
It shouldn't be.
Because it should be about what I think is better for this country.
And it's like every side has its own pros and cons, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
God.
It's sad. Well, what was I saying earlier? Oh yeah, China, dude. My thing with China is I have a buddy who actually lives in China, and what he complains most about, I barely see him anymore. He had like a fancy job, I forgot exactly what it was, but it was for like foreign people. And then he ended up becoming a citizen because he married a girl down there. You know what I mean? And basically what he complains about is about his wife is that she's working 9 to 9, 6 days a week. And that's the norm over there. They work people so hard in China that they actually that's the norm. 9 to 9, 6 days a week. But like if they say that's bull and they go to find another job, the other job's just gonna do that.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's how it is over there.
I haven't. It's been like a few weeks since I've last played through Dread, so I'm like trying to kind of sort of retrace my steps.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go after the expansion, so that should obviously knock a lot of time off of my, run. But I mean, I'm going to need some expansions if I want to make the game a little bit easier, for sure. Because these enemies hurt you like a motherfucker. Especially bosses.
That looks cool.
This whole game.
What? That almost reminded me of the lava levels in Kirby, which we're gonna get to one day.
For sure.
What if Kirby and Metroid are in the same world?
I think that might actually be unironically possible, and you want to know why?
Because they're all like space.
Well, that and Samus actually did cameo in Kirby's Return to Dreamland 3.
Are you serious?
Well, not Return to Dreamland 3, but Kirby's Dreamland 3, sorry.
Which console was that one
Super
for?
Nintendo. There is actually a level or whatever. I think he had to find a Metroid, and then at the end of it, like, Samus was there, and when he found a Metroid, he got, like, a plot MacGuffin or something. My memory is very fucking hazy on the subject, but the point is, Samus was in the game as a cameo.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's crazy.
I know. I'm surprised I remembered that, actually, but,
yeah.
Now you know. The more you know. Will they cross over again? Probably not, but I mean...
Well, what about Smash, dude? You remember, how do you... maybe they will because of Subspace. When they make a new Subspace in the next Smash game, they're totally gonna do it.
I mean, he has to because, people want that to happen.
I feel like, honestly, even stuff like Waluigi and Smash, that has to happen sooner or later. It's just a given.
Well, Sakurai's already talking about wanting to do another Smash game, which blows my fucking mind.
Here's the thing, but they can't give you a perfect game. They gotta give you something that can be improved upon of. You get what I'm saying?
And the funny thing is, I remember, back then, people criticized the fuck out of Subspace because Subspace didn't have many Nintendo-based enemies. They had a lot of weird, sort of forgettable enemies and, weird worlds that didn't feel very Nintendo-esque, and people didn't like that. But now, you come into Smash 4 and Ultimate, and it doesn't have any adventure mode to speak of. Now people are suddenly praising it. It's kind of like a backwards effect, where something felt bad at one point, now actually is good.
I'm calling it out right now. I think that Waluigi is going to be in Smash, and that there's going to be a Subspace. I think the only reason they're not in the game is because they needed a reason to make a sequel that has more content.
But, cutting out characters to cut corners or something.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, that's going to be the end of this part of Metroid Dread.
Alright.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Be a good looking dude and do that.
And we will see you guys in the next video.
Later.